My name is Virginia Ryan. I live in Cotuit. Many Cape Codders are extremely concerned, as I'm sure you've heard all over, about the fuel costs for this winter.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you can talk about your short and long-term plans for addressing weatherization needs, fuel assistance, and so forth,
Yeah.
so people can stay warm.
Yeah, Virginia, thank you for the question. First of all, you're right. I hear this. We've done 10 of these town halls now. I hear it at every single town hall, and it's one of the 2 or 3 things I get the most mail on. Bernie, I didn't want you to get the impression I don't read the mail I get, but I just get a lot of it. Talk about some short-term stuff and then some long-term stuff. First of all, I asked my counterparts from other states to come and meet with me so we could share some of each other's ideas. And together we called on the Congress to increase substantially the funding for LIHEAP, which is the Low-Income Heating Assistance Program. And I'll tell you from our contacts with the Massachusetts delegation, this may well happen next month in September. What we called for was, I think, about $4 or $5 billion. Now, can I just drop an important footnote? That is a good thing, and the set-aside that we asked the state legislature for money from the surplus we generated in the fiscal year just ended. We asked for 20 million, they gave us 10, so we'd be ready at least. I did ask that that be more flexible so that it would not just be for home heating oil, but other energy needs, because there are going to be electric needs and so on as well. But we got what we got. It's a start. The footnote, though, is that the low income, there will be families affected who are outside the parameters of that definition of low income, and we're going to have to deal with that. So there are a couple of things we are doing. We also, the Senate President, the Speaker, and I formed a task force to report back next month on the whole host of private and public programs, because there are a number, probably not adequate in the aggregate, but right now there's no one place to go to find out about all your options. And I think it would be a load off, you give people some peace of mind if there was just one place. So we're trying to aggregate all that information in time for the heating season, so that people have one place to go. In the longer run, I'll come back to you. In the longer run, do you have some ideas about that, by the way?
Well, my question would just be, would you do some more with weatherization?
Well, excuse me. I should have said that in the request we made of the Congress for LIHEAP, we also asked that they increase funding for the federal weatherization program, which is a very big deal. It's one of those programs where the impact, for a relatively small amount of money, the impact has been huge. One thing I would say for everybody here, get an energy audit now, right now. You have paid for it already through your utility bills. Call up your gas company or electric company. You have already paid for it. Get them to come out and audit your property now, and they will give you, if they do it right, they will give you some idea about where your own inefficiencies may lie. And sometimes it's things as simple as repairing a storm window or adding some caulking and so on that can make a big difference. But do it now before the winter season comes. That's my one commercial message. The longer term work we've been doing is in the energy bill, largely, where we're really taking the electric generation system and turning it upside down. Right now, you get paid. The electric company makes money based on how much we use. What we have done is elevate efficiency to the same competitive level. We also have in place programs now, if you are interested in solar installation, which is very expensive for a lot of people, a rebate program called Commonwealth Solar, where you can get a 60% rebate if you're a homeowner on solar installation, 40% if you are a business, and through the energy bill, you can sell your excess generation back into the grid, which means you're paying for this capital improvement even faster. So those are some steps in the short and medium term.
Thank you, Governor, for coming here. Alan Bird from the Hyannis Salvation Army. Cape Cape Cod is a big part of Massachusetts, and we have people suffering and dying on the streets in homelessness, our most vulnerable population, and everybody cares about it. We all say that. And I know we're in a time of fiscal crisis throughout the state, throughout the country, but the poor people, the people suffering on the street and dying, these people need to be helped the most and hurt the least. And it just seems to me that the money and the funding goes to other places. People like me that have houses and cars, I need to lose things. I need to pay more, but I've got to care about the people that don't have houses. And I work with these people, and they are dying. We don't have enough housing. The Chapter 40B state law, what is that, like 40 years old, and yet most communities in Massachusetts have defied that law. They don't have the 10% housing that they were mandated by the state to do. There's got to be incentives for communities to do that, and consequences to not. I mean, many of the people on the street, and now the years that I've been doing this, people that never even thought it was possible to become homeless are now homeless. And it takes a very short period of time when you hit the street, because you just think somehow there's a safety net, and you're going to be pulled out of this crisis, like the Red Cross is going to come and rescue you. Well, if your house burns down or if a flood comes and takes your house, that is true. But if your life just falls apart because of the economy, the price of housing, so I don't know what you can do, but I mean, these people need, I mean, look how long it takes to get a Section 8. 3 to 5 years. Somebody's life falls apart physically with a disability. It can take 8 months before they get payments. You hear what I'm saying, and I hope you've got some solution.
You were, did you say Salvation Army? It's Alan, right?
Salvation Army.
And at Salvation Army, first of all, thank you for what you do, and thank you for the question. Let me tell you some of the things we have done and are doing. First of all, in the homelessness line item had the largest single increase of any other item in the state budget that we just passed. A $10 million ad with a strategy to end homelessness, because the point is, I believe, and we had some really good work done on this, is not just to give people shelter, but to give them the wraparound services so that they can stay on their feet once they get that housing. We also signed, the legislature gave us, what's the size of the housing bond bill? 1.3, largest housing bond bill in 20 years, I think, so that we can start investing in public and affordable housing all around the Commonwealth. Now, we're not going to do that on our own. We're going to do that in partnership with private funders, but it's a start. And we have a strategy over the next several years to invest that money, including on the Cape. Last thing I will say is that through a $20 million fund that we raised largely privately with private matches, and some federal money that's coming from the housing bill that was just the Fannie and Freddie Mac bill that the Congress just passed, the President just signed, we will get, I think it's not quite $100 million, which we are using to acquire foreclosed properties that where you just can't make it work for the family. And we're using that money with neighborhood organizations, community groups, really letting them take it, so that those properties can be made affordable housing for people who have needs. So that it's not like that, and it won't replace what you do, but it'll support what you do and what you asked about.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Alan.
The coastal homeowners insurance bill did not get through the House. There's still a lot of concern down here about that.
Yeah, I have a
lot.
lot.
What are you going to do on Beacon Hill about it?
I have a lot of concern about it as well. It did not come through in formal session. It doesn't mean that it won't get through in informal session. And you can be sure, as you may know already, that the Cape Cod delegation is working very hard on this. They're not letting anybody lose focus, and we know that we need a solution. We know we need a permanent
Some
solution.
of the advocates down here said no bill is better than a bad bill. Can we get a good bill?
I think everybody is committed to trying to find a permanent solution. If I understand it correctly, it's the model that the insurance companies use for how they price, and that model is based on a catastrophe. And while no one wants to pretend that the worst can't happen. We need a model that's just more practical for homeowners down here.
Governor, what's the status of property tax relief from the Municipal Partnership Act?
Well, the legislature, we put 4 different ideas before the legislature to try to get some pressure off the property tax, and one, which was the resort casino proposal, was rejected, as you know, and the other 3 did not get acted upon, and we're just going to have to keep coming back at it because everybody's concerned about it. We need a system that works, and we don't have that system right now.
Can you shed any more light on any of the conversations you are having with the Mashpee tribe at this point?
No, I can tell. First of all, I'm not having them. They are my Secretary of Economic Development is in regular touch with the tribe and has been very constructive and open. We know, as everybody does, that their first order of business is to try to get the land and trust worked out in Middleborough, and that'll take a little while, I think. And we have. Look, when it's time to talk about a compact, we'll talk about a compact, but they'll have to drive that process.
Do you want to bring another bill forward?
Well, we'll see.